I basically had to like just gather myself. First of all, had to like recover. That shit was like, that shit was a big whirlwind of emotions at that time.
Did you have to like meditate, like how you moved through that space? Because that was one of the loudest experiences I've ever had in hip hop. Like just the fallout, all the conversation around it. And I always wondered what was going through your mind.
My part in it specifically, or you mean the overall
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Okay.
You just watching, like, because you had come off, you had this dope feature run. You clearly had Might Delete Later already ready to go.
Yes.
We were building up to the fall off. Cole
Yeah.
fans were like, you can't tell us nothing right now. We're outside. And then, so you're on the stage at Dreamville Fest. And I always wondered what was going through your mind in the 5 seconds before you made the apology, the 5 minutes, the 5 hours before. Was it something that you had really thought of and planned? Or did you get on the stage and felt like, I need to do this?
No, it hit me an hour before.
Okay.
But before that, I was stressing the fuck out but in the moment that the idea came to me, like via God, it's like, oh man, I lifted and I got light and I got excited. I got so excited because, to tell you the 2 or 3 days before that, it was like, oh my, nah, this is terrible, because I felt like I misrepresented myself. You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden I'm giving life to division and to negative storylines or negative perceptions on somebody that I fuck with and got love for. You know what I mean? Somebody that I like care about. And it's like, oh shit. In my mind, of course, I mean, I could take you back to, we know why that happened in the first place,
Right.
but just to answer your question, that shit had me feeling terrible, because I'm like, oh my God, like this shit is nasty. This shit don't feel right. And of course, leading up to it, when I was doing it, it made sense. Actually, I can't really say it made sense, but in a moment where I wasn't clear, like we were just talking about, I chose to do something that didn't align. It's like putting on the fucking outfit, the Versace sweater or whatever. In a moment where I wasn't clear, I chose to go this way for reasons that I could tell you about. But all you need to know right now is like, yo, I felt miserable about it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. And as you can hear from that interview, J. Cole talked about his role in the Kendrick and Drake beef, which has been coming up a lot this week for some reason. But J. Cole, of course, he did the interview with Nadeska, and he did the one with Cam and Mace on It Is What It Is podcast. And Jay-Z did an interview as well with GQ, I believe. So it's been another topic of discussion that's coming up. I don't know, maybe Drake's album is finally releasing, but this interview from J. Cole was very off-putting, and I don't think it really was needed, especially for when everybody was forgetting about how he withdrew from the beef and the feud and his role, and people were starting to give him respect for what he did, because him stepping back allowed us to see one of the greatest hip hop feuds or hip hop beefs of all time. But in the words of Slim Charles from The Wire, if it's a lie, we fight on that lie, but we got to fight. So that's one of the most powerful quotes from The Wire. If you watch The Wire, you understand the context of that quote. And that quote is just saying, hey, if the feud was built on a lie that you really didn't want to, you already put out the 7-minute drill song, you put out that Might Delete Later album, you had to stand on that hill at that point, because we live in a society now where you can't take anything back. If you like something or if you tweet something and try to delete, somebody's going to screenshot it, or it's going to be a capsule in time somewhere. So you can't escape your comments or thoughts that you put out there. Once you click enter or send, it's over. It's out there for the world. It'll always be out there. So it's no way to undo that. And there's always people clipping things and screenshotting. So there's no coming back from that. So you have to just die on that hill at that point, because you're already in it and there's no way to go back. It's only thing you can do at that point is look worse, by either denying the tweets or words that you put out there, or saying that you really didn't mean them, because now you're looking fickle, and you're looking a little shaky out here. So I thought those comments made him look a little unhip hopish at the least, just from his stands. And we knew his stands already, because he talked about it when he apologized at the Dreamfest tour the day after he put out the song. So we have this already. We didn't need any more elaboration. But I guess if they ask him the question, he has to answer it. But he has to have some kind of control over that the questions that were going to be posed. Because from my understanding, he didn't do an interview with Kevin Mace because he didn't want to talk about the beef between Drake and Kendrick, which he eventually talked about anyway. So it looks a little different that way as well, because everything that you avoided, you had to address anyway. And no matter what interview you were going to do, they were going to ask you about it. You could have did an interview with Homes and Gardens, and they were going to ask you about the Kendrick and Drake thing because you were a central part of that at the beginning, especially with the first person shooter song. You were a big part of that. So I think this is a poor attempt of a Monday morning quarterback session that most people, especially hip hop fans, didn't really care to hear. Uh, what we really wanted to know and hear is your relationship with Drake and Kendrick at this time, because it seemed like it was on shaky grounds with both, especially with the Drake fans thinking that J. Cole were supposed to team up as this conglomerate to take Kendrick down, or people that thought that Cole was taking shots at Kendrick in favor of Drake. So there's a lot of debt on both sides. So a lot of people wanted to know what the relationship with those two individuals were, because neither one of them were on the album. So on that Fall Off album. So we wanted to know about that because we know it's not in the same light as it used to be. But it's a sad way to go out if that Fall Off album is his last album, which is rumored that he has another one. So hopefully he doesn't go out this way. But I think assessing everything, this is just J. Cole letting Nas down again. Now, him letting down Nas the first time is not bad as he's doing it this time, especially when it comes to rap beef. When it's rap beef, most people don't expect anything to come from it unless it's one of those drill rap beefs, which have had horrible results over the past years. But for the most part, it's going to stay on wax. It's going to stay in the studio. It's not even going to make it to the streets, even from the camps of other people, because these people have way too much to lose. They have way too many, way too many resources, way too much money to lose these things. So they're going to tell the people that they know to not go. It's not that deep. It's not that important. It's not that crucial. So, and we talked about how this is hip hop. It's not pop music. It's not gospel music. It's not country or R&B. This is hip hop. It's about being competitive and being the best. So it's based on your skill set. It's not based on hatred or crime or anything like that. It's about putting your best foot forward and showing who's the best, especially when J. Cole boasts so much about how good he is a rapper and how nobody wants to see him as a rapper. And we was looking forward to see that. But at the expense of hip hop, we allow J. Cole to step aside and let Drake and Kendrick go at it, because there has been this subtle beef between these two for the last, decade or so. So everybody wanted to see them engage in this battle. We didn't want to see a one-on-one on one. Nobody likes those one-on-one on one matchups, especially like in WWE. You see Undertaker versus Kane versus Stone Cold. Nobody really cares about those matches. We want to see the mano y mano, the best one-on-one matchups. Even a tag team matchup would have been better, but that one-on-one matchup is what we wanted to see. We didn't want to see Drake versus Cole versus Kendrick. It's too much going on. Or we didn't even want to see Drake and Cole versus Kendrick. We didn't want to see that. We just want to see man on man, going at it. And the stance that Cole is taking is very anti-hip hop, because it's different from when him saying, I didn't mean to diss you, I'm gonna step aside. That's something different. But you just out saying that hip hop is toxic and these battles have destroyed this and that. It's not about that. It's about recovering. And I think at some point in time we have to address the fact that a lot of these rappers and artists have become sore losers. You don't win an Oscar, you don't win a Grammy, you don't win this rap battle, then you pouting for months, but you're sitting on millions. It's about the recovery. Everybody falls down, but what do you do when you get back up? And that's what it's about. And a lot of these people aren't getting back up. At least they're crawling, and they're not able to get back up and see that the glass is half full instead of half empty. So this interview that Cole did, I think, was just a waste of his time and a waste of time for the listeners, because it really had no relevancy in hip hop today, especially with battle rap being so important and just hip hop being so competitive. And it's teaching kids now that you can be competitive. You just be buddy buddy with everybody which, you know, at some point you have to be that. But on the flip side, everybody's not going to like everybody. Everybody wants to see who's the best. Let's see who's the best. It doesn't have to result to violence because nobody wants that, but you have to be competitive. You have to have some kind of fervor to want to be better and to show your place in hip hop. And J. Cole wasn't able to show that, and he actually maybe actually did the opposite of that. So tell me what your thoughts about J. Cole and his side, or his interview with Nadeska in this beef. And until next time, I'll see you next time.